What do stunning coins and delicious snacks have in common?
Hi, I'm Jack McNamara, and I love stunning and rare coins. Oh, and I also love delicious and scrumptious food, too. Join me as I combine the best of numismatics and tasty treats into one show. Coin Snacks with Jack. Put down that tired bologna sandwich and spice up your lunch as I chat with some of the biggest names in numismatics and eat delicious snacks. From coin news and U.S. Mint releases to rare coins and numismatic oddities. From my all-time favorite coins to ancients and commemoratives, get your numismatic midweek pick-me-up with Coin Snacks with Jack. Plus, we'll eat snacks, lots of them.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another exciting episode of Coin Snacks with Jack, the number one place on the internet for you to get your numismatic news while I sit back and eat delicious snacks. I'm your host, Jack McNamara, and I'm lucky any of my shirts fit me anymore after all these snacks every week. But just remember to keep watching here, streaming live on YouTube and Facebook every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific. This week, our news in current events here, I'd like to talk a little bit about the first ever advanced release pedigree issued by NGC. This is a pedigree that would not be possible without a special program authorized by the U.S. Mint that allowed a limited amount of bulk dealers to purchase 2021W Proof American Silver Eagles. These are that first type that we're going to have this year, the earlier Mercanti, the final issue of that Mercanti Reverse American Silver Eagle. And some bulk dealers were allowed to purchase these on February 8th, which was actually 3 days prior to their release. Now, this allows collectors to obtain the earliest possible release of the 2021W Mercanti Reverse Proof American Silver Eagle available. This is earlier than first day of issue, earlier than first release, early release. Now, initially, we had thought the mintage of this issue was 327,440 coins, but once the Congratulations set was released, there was a few more, but it's still a tiny, tiny mintage, just 359,976 coins, which is still a tiny, tiny mintage, like I said, for the American Silver Eagle series. Now, only about 10% of the coins issue of these Type 1 proof Silver Eagles, about 30,000 coins, have been released early enough to even be eligible for this pedigree. And out of those examples, just a little over 1,000 will be graded in perfect Proof 70 Ultra Cameo in our Reagan Mercanti holder signed by John Mercanti himself. And these final year of issue Heraldic Eagle Mercanti signed 2021W American Silver Eagles are only available through Rare Collectibles TV. So make sure to stop by our website, rarecollectiblestv.com, and grab yours while you can, because like I said, it's a very, very limited amount of coins that exist in those holders, or that exist, period, actually. So before we introduce our guests, I just want to thank our crew here that gets me up and running every Wednesday. Thanks to Alex, Sofer, Colleen, Joey, Elliot, Nate, and Chris Suttle is here too. Now I'd like to introduce a very special guest. He is the CEO of the highly successful bullion trading company A-Mark Precious Metals. He's also handled some of the world's rarest numismatic treasures. He's known for his role at Spectrum Numismatics, where he merged two of the most famous old school auction houses for numismatics, for rare coins, that exist in the world, with Stax and Bowers, helping help bring the world's famous Wells Fargo Hoard of 1908 Nomato Saint-Gaudens Gold Double Eagles to collectors. Today we have Mr. Greg Roberts.
Very excited to be a part of your show.
Well, thank you so much, Greg. I really appreciate you coming on here today. We've got a lot of exciting topics to talk about here. As I said, you helped put Stax and Bowers together. You brought the Wells Fargo Hoard to the market. But before we get into all of that great numismatic savory goodies there, I'd like to welcome Colleen out to introduce our snacks, because as you know, we have to always have snacks. Oh, where's our snacks? Colleen. Oh,
Okay, Jack.
here we go.
All right, Jack. Well, there's lots to talk about with our snack today. I'm actually going to take my mask off because I think we're separated here enough. I think we'll be okay. So, we went with grilled cheese. Now, Romans have been putting cheese and bread together, forever. Then in the French in the early 1900s, they had their croque monsieur. And James Kraft, back in 1915, figured out a way to pasteurize and manufacture cheese so that it had this longer life and it could be distributed everywhere. Well, that led to everyone being able to make toasted cheese sandwiches. In World War II, Navy cooks made thousands and thousands of grilled cheese sandwiches for the men there. So it became this popular sandwich. So even Irma Bombeck, who created, she's the author of Joy of Cooking, which is my cooking Bible. Mm-hmm. She even had a recipe. So fast forward, we have this elevated grilled cheese now. So we have some coming to our guest, and they are by Grater Cheese, and they will be delivered momentarily. I'm going to have Joey put some pictures up of the sandwiches that are coming to you, Greg. And we have 3 different ones: the basic kind of grilled cheese, we have a lobster grilled cheese, and then we have, I believe it's arugula and a special aioli.
Oh, wow.
So
that looks awesome. It's a lobster
once you're
grilled
done
cheese.
with the hard work of the show, you will be rewarded with some delicious grilled cheese.
Nice.
So, for you, Jack, we went local here in Torrance.
So wait, Greg gets a lobster grilled cheese, but I don't?
Yeah, you don't.
Oh,
so, you know what?
man.
You know
I'm going to
what?
come down by you, Greg. Is that cool?
Sure.
It's all about
Well,
his
party.
pedigree. And okay, so what we have for you is from Truxton's. They're local.
Oh, yeah.
But let me tell you, you're not missing out on anything.
That looks awesome.
White cheddar. I just forgot the other cheese. Burrata, arugula, basil, pesto, all in this beautiful toasted cheese for you.
Wow.
So
That
I
looks
think you're
awesome.
going to be okay.
Yeah, I think I am. I
Yeah.
think I'm going to be,
Yeah.
well, don't talk to
Right.
my doctor. He might not agree, but I think I'm going to be more than okay.
Yeah.
That is not like the grilled cheese you see in prison movies that they make with an iron.
It's slightly elevated. This is not pasteurized cheese. But one other fun fact that I just thought I should throw out there, because we're talking about collectible tidbits, right? So in 2004, the online casino Golden Palace purchased a half-eaten grilled cheese for $28,000. This famous grilled cheese sandwich happened to have the image of the Virgin Mary burned into the toast.
Wow, okay.
And this brilliant woman from Florida saved that sandwich for a decade and sold it on eBay. So you just never know where your collectible items are going to come from. And
Okay.
I guess it goes back to your philosophy and some of our guests. I think it's their philosophy as well. Collect what you like. So here you go, and I hope you enjoy.
Thank you very much. Greg, would you ever consider, auctioning a grilled cheese with the Virgin Mary on it? Is that something in your wheelhouse?
If someone wants to pay me to do it, I'll do it.
All right. Well, again, thank you so
We don't
much.
discriminate.
Very good. All right. Well, on that note, let's find out what it is you normally do besides potentially auctioning grilled cheeses. So if you could just tell us a little bit about your current position as CEO of A-Mark Precious Metals and a little bit about the demand today for gold and silver in the current marketplace.
Sure, absolutely. So A-Mark Precious Metals is a physical precious metals merchant founded in the late 1960s by a gentleman by the name of Steve Markoff. I purchased A-Mark from him in 2005 and have been building the business ever since. And we're, we sell gold, silver, platinum, palladium, bullion products. We have a number of other ancillary services. We provide finance, storage, logistics. We have an interest in 2 private mints. So we're able to create and produce products in gold and silver that the public demands. We also do some work for a few of the sovereign mints out there.
Okay.
But pretty much we try to, anything you want to do with precious metals, we try to handle it. We're currently one of the largest distributors for the United States Mint and have been historically, and in their bullion program. So as that currently, the state of the bullion market is very good. We've really, since a year ago, actually starting about 18 months ago, the demand has really been greater than the supply for particularly for small silver products. There's just not enough silver out there, and the pipeline can get bogged down. So there just seems to be a great demand right now for silver in particular.
Yeah, and I've seen that kind of, because it does kind of overlap into numismatics then, because you get coins. I'm looking for BU dollars and things that are harder for me to get, because people who normally would buy silver bars or silver eagles are then buying whatever kind of silver they can get, and then it kind of just has a domino effect on these other kind of somewhat related other facets of coins. And
I would agree with you. I think that the mintages, as you were speaking about earlier, are traditionally lower than the demand, and then when you get any disruption in the most popular products, people want to buy something, and it usually affects all products.
Right.
So it's a very good time right now.
Right. Now, every collector I know has some kind of interesting story when it comes to how they got into the hobby. And for me, it was my grandfather who, I was a kid, and he got me into collecting. He was a collector since he was a kid. His grandfather got him interested. And sometimes it's as simple as just noticing a coin you didn't recognize as a child and being fascinated. What is it that, besides bullion, obviously you're involved in numismatics, and what brought you into this hobby?
Well, in 1974, when I was 12 years old, my uncle was part of a coin club in Covina, California, and he introduced me to the coin collecting business, and he had his own small retail operation that he ran out of a post office box in the San Gabriel Valley. And he would have me over to his house, and we would, go through. He specialized in Lincoln pennies, and so he would, let me search for the key dates with him, and got me interested. So that's kind of how it started. And then I was fortunate enough to be around when silver had a run in 77, 78, and found that I could go to the banks and buy silver half dollars for 50 cents and make a profit on them. And then I was fortunate geographically to be in Southern California. So, the Long Beach Coin Show, one of the biggest shows out there. And that I was able to drive there. And so that's kind of how I got started. And then when I started dealing, I was fortunate enough to meet Kevin Lipton, and he was a mentor of mine, and helped me go, learn the business. So I'm just very fortunate in how I got started in it.
That's great. It's funny. Lincoln cents sounds like a common denominator for a lot of us. With my grandfather, we had wheat pennies, and we'd play bingo.
Yeah.
Same kind of thing. So I know you've been in the coin business now for over 30 years, and you've handled some of the most stunning and important coins in numismatic history. Can you share a few gems that kind of just blew you away with their rarity or beauty or both, or what really talks to you?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've been able to handle a lot of the coins out there that are exciting and that collectors talk about and people dream about, and I've been very fortunate. I was fortunate enough to have a couple of partners early on in the 90s and early 2000s that allowed me to source and find some very classic rarities. I was involved in the purchase of the King of Siam proof set. I've handled ultra high relief, 13 nickel, 1894 S dime. So most all of the rarities I've been involved with over the years. And then just, being a dealer and attending auctions, I was, again, back to my story with Kevin, we partnered and did the Elisburg sale together, which was a pretty exciting auction to be a participant in. And but most of the classic rarities I've handled at one time or another. So, and if there's anyone specifically you want me to focus on, I can do that.
Well, it's amazing stuff. I do want to dig a hair deeper just for anybody who's newer. So, Eliasberg was the only person ever to complete a collection of every single U.S. coin. So that's the auction you were talking about, participating and buying coins out of. The one that I think I'm most fascinated with is, all those rarities you're talking about. For anyone who's newer, these are all currently $1 million plus, multi-million-dollar coins. I think the King of Siam set fascinates me the most because it's just, not only is it like one of the, one rare coin, it's like a whole set of just these incredible, rarities, close to unique. Most of these coins are, the $1804 is the centerpiece. There is, there's, I think, 16 known of 3 different types. This is the first, the earliest ones, and it's a big deal. Anything else you share on that set?
It was a once in a lifetime opportunity, I think, to get that set. I had a partner at the time, and he was putting together a great coin collection, and we bought it at an auction. I think it was a Superior auction, and I think I remember the set we paid, a little over $1 million for it. Obviously it's worth much more than that today, like most coins have gone up.
Right.
But it was pretty cool. I did some work on it. I was able to find a ship's manifest and a captain's log, on the boat where the King of Siam Set was moving from the United States to Asia. And, it's just a great piece of history. And the story is to me really exciting. I love history and that set. And, there was another set like it that were created.
It's for the Sultan of Muscat, I think, the other one, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, and you do occasionally still see, you can get an $1804. Recently an 1834 10 sold that was also a coin struck at the same time. But that one set with the box and everything is really, to me, the holy grail of the numismatic collecting.
Right. Yeah, I agree. For anybody who doesn't know what that is, this was in 1834. Our country was trying to open up trade relations with Asia, so we made these as gifts to these royalty and dignitaries. So they struck every coin that was being issued in proof to give it to these dignitaries. And the $1804, as you know, Greg, I know you know all this, but I'm just trying to bring up to speed anybody who's newer. When they went to strike these coins, there were no dollars, being struck in the U.S. They looked at their records. They saw the last date they struck a dollar was 1804, even though these were struck in 1834. So they struck these coins. They didn't realize that in 1804, those coins that are showing on the records were dated 1803. So all of a sudden, they created this mega rarity, again, of that class $1. I think there's like 6 maybe of the ones struck in 1834, something like that. So anything, but it amazes me that set was intact. Was it? Do you know if it had been broken up before that and then kind of put it back together? And do you know if it's still together today or if it's been broken up again?
I don't know exactly the history. I do believe that it's together today. The same coins are together. I'm familiar with with the owner that currently owns it. I do believe that it stayed intact. So it's a very, very, very historic, cool item. So
it's incredible. That's incredible. Now, speaking of incredible items and incredible deals, for those viewers who are newer here and aren't familiar with the great Wells Fargo Hoard, 1908 No Motto Saint-Gaudens Double Eagles. Can you tell us a bit about that hoard and your involvement in that deal?
Sure. In the mid 90s, I was fortunate enough to work together with one of my closest friends, Ron Gillio, and he and I worked together on purchasing and marketing this group of $20 gold pieces. In all the years, I've never seen a group quite like this. They were all 1908s, and they were all in super high condition. I think, there were a few MS-64 quality coins, but for the most part, the coins were incredibly well preserved and had clearly not been moved around much since they were struck. They were, held, I believe, as, gold that backed currency at the time. We were able to acquire it, and we spent months sorting the coins at a Wells Fargo bank, and the bank was very interested in what we were doing. Wells Fargo had been involved historically in different California gold markets or situations. So we were able to do a deal with them to promote the bank, as well as promote the fact that we were storing the deal and working on it at a Wells Fargo bank. It was about 20,000 coins, and to this day, some of the nicest quality Saint-Gaudens gold coins I've ever seen came out of this deal. They were just, it was incredible quality.
Right, and to stay in that quality, like you said, these coins must not have moved around a lot. Were they in bags, or were they stored some other way that they didn't get a chance to really move around a lot?
Yeah, they were in bags, and they were in paper tubes. So the coins definitely, in my opinion, I believe the coins sat in the same location for a long time and just didn't get sorted or counted. I mean, today, you see a lot of coins that come out of, different places around the world where the coins get counted or moved around every month or every year, and it's the job of non-numismatists to keep track of the count. Right. So the coins tend to get beat up a little bit more. Right,
they braid against each other.
Right, which is they get stacked, they get sorted. So this deal was just unique. I've never seen anything like it, and it's obvious that it was important to the people that we were able to acquire it from to keep the quality of the coins very high. So
that's incredible. And like you said, this hoard is known for the high quality. It's known for bringing some of the highest grade Saint-Gaudens double eagles that exist to the market. I understand 10 of the 13 known Mint State 69 examples came from this hoard. Can you tell me about those coins in particular, the MS-69s? I mean, they must have just been mind-blowing.
Yeah, I mean, the coins had an incredible luster to them. A lot of them were struck off of what produced some like semi-proof like look.
Okay.
They also had this kind of golden patina on them that really just blasted. It was really a good look. The highest grade coins, to this day, I still believe that that they're every bit as nice as PCGS and NGC designated them. And for the most part, I still love seeing these coins come back. I see them every couple of weeks. We'll buy some of them back, or we'll have them from the secondary market, and it was an incredible group of coins.
That's amazing. And I understand they kind of were in the same place for over 70 years, right? This deal was in the 90s, was it?
We purchased the deal in the mid 90s and sold it throughout the end of the 90s and into 2000. And so, it took us a little while to distribute it. And so we worked through it. But yeah, it's I've never seen anything in writing, but I do believe the coin sat in one place for, for 60 plus years.
Right. Which is clear just by the quality. I mean, they couldn't have really moved around and been able to maintain that kind of quality.
Yeah. It was, and certainly, the graders at NGC and the graders at PCGS that I worked with at the time, we all acknowledge that it was a special group because, generally big deals of $20 gold pieces, as you know, from the population reports and what you see, you don't see a concentration of this quality. I mean, you might have to buy, 10,000 $20 gold pieces to get a few MS-67s, but you're always going to have, the 63s, the 62s, because the coins were used in trade. So they moved around a lot. And so to find something where, the average grade, I think on the deal was, 65.9 or 66 something. I mean, it was pretty incredible with no low end coins.
Greg, were any of these coins kind of bordering on mint state 70 potentially, do you think? Because that could have been the only
I don't think so. I mean, don't recall a coin being perfect. I mean, I do remember kind of, having conversations with Mark Salzberg and David Hall, and we looked at the coins and tried to figure out which one we thought was the best. And I think even back then at the time, David Hall, wanted to put an insert that said the best one out of the deal. And I don't know what happened to that coin, but I kind of recall, had a great time debating the coins and just, trying to figure out which ones we liked the best.
Right.
So, it was fun. I mean, it was 20 some years ago, so it's a little bit foggy on it, but I recall the whole process of trying to identify the best coins was a lot of fun.
So of the 10 coins that graded 69, did you guys ever come to a consensus, or did you for yourself feel there was one that you liked the most, or was it just too hard? Once you get to those levels, the differentiation is so tiny.
Yeah. I mean, at that time, I think the whole concept of an MS-69 coin was a little bit new.
Right.
Obviously, today, you see with some of the more modern coins,
right.
You see 69s and 70s. I certainly had, my favorite, and I think there were, a few coins that I looked at, over and over and over again that you could make a case for that they were near perfection. But I didn't think it was a little bit of a leap back then. I mean, I think just grading $20 gold pieces MS-69 back then was real recognition of how great the deal was, because it hadn't, that grade hadn't been attained historically. But I do think there was a consensus. I mean, I think that, everybody in my circle or with the grading services, we definitely were all in agreement on which we thought were the best 10 coins, but then, picking which one, we thought was the best. I don't know that there was consensus on that. I certainly think the one that David identified that he liked the best, he actually labeled it. So, he got to pick his favorite coin.
Well, I think it's just a testament to the quality and the idea that you guys did agree, and the not just you, but the third-party grading services agreed that these coins were 69. I think the fact that there's only 13 graded 69 is such a testament to the 25 years later that it's not like they were just the grading was changing and they were going to start giving out 69s. No, that's not the case. These were just phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, I would say at the time I bought this deal, I may have looked at and purchased 100,000 $20 gold pieces. So to get a deal like this was just, unbelievable again. And numismatics and coin collecting and bullion in this business continues to give me once in a lifetime opportunities that I just feel, very fortunate to be a part of.
Well, moving on to kind of another once in a lifetime opportunity here. I understand you were a important part of the merger between my former employer Stax and another world famous auction house, Bowers, and now they're Stax Bowers. So what's the story kind of behind merging those two, famous classic American numismatic auction houses into one company?
In the early 2000s, Collectors Universe, PCGS, actually had ventured into the auction business. They bought a currency auction business as well as acquiring Bowers and Morena, which historically had been, one of the big three auction houses.
Right.
I think that at some point they became somewhat disenchanted with having to actually run a coin trading or auction business. So they approached me, and I was able to acquire the business. At the time, I had a business, Spectrum Numismatics,
right,
and that I felt like the next evolution of that business was to be in the auction business and to be associated with such a storied name and be able to carry on what Bowers and Morena did. Obviously, going back to the Eliasberg sales, and some of the biggest and best auctions of numismatic history were run through Bowers and Morena.
Right.
Bowers and Morena, or before that, it was Bowers and Ruddy.
Right.
So there was a long history, and I feel like I was in the right place at the right time. And again, back to my friend David Hall, he and I were able to put a deal together, and we acquired that business, as well as there were some other ancillary businesses that we acquired at the time, and we proceeded to become part of the auction world.
Right.
And then I want to say it was 3 or 4 years later, probably the mid 2000s. I was fortunate enough to meet Charles and Joel Anderson, who are Joel has passed away now, but Charles, a good friend of mine and a good friend of Kevin Lipton's, and they had purchased Stax from Harvey and Larry,
right,
and they were running it. And again, I talked to them about the idea of merging the businesses.
Mm-hmm.
They thought that it was a good idea also, and so we took that next step at being able to acquire the location on 57th Street in New York, which you're familiar with.
Yep, I worked there for 7 years.
Right, that was a big moment for me. We've since moved that business onto Park Avenue and 57th Street with a brand new, great location. But that was very important to me, to have that presence in New York City, and just to have the history of Stax. Charles and Joel stayed on as partners of mine to this day. Charles continues to be a partner in the business, and so that was great. We were able to merge the businesses, merge the cultures. They were very different cultures, but Brian Condrella here at Stax and Andrew Glassman and myself, we got everybody together, and today it's a great marriage, and the business is thriving. So I love the auction business. I love numismatics. We also auction currency and foreign coins and paper money. We have auctions in Hong Kong. We have an office in Paris. So we've really grown the business quite a bit.
Right.
And, again, once in a lifetime opportunity for me, and tried to make the best of it.
Right. Yeah, that's a great story. And, like you said, once in a lifetime. There's only so many historic, decades old auction businesses out there. I don't think you're gonna replicate that moment.
Yeah.
But it's a great story. Yeah, I loved getting to work on 57th Street there, because it was such a iconic place. The Stax family was doing that since the 30s, right? And
Yep.
And Dave Bowers has been doing it since the 50s, I think. Maybe not just as an auction house, but he's been in the business since the 50s, I think, right?
Yeah. And I was just very fortunate to be surrounded by such smart people that you've just you just mentioned, and still close to all of them today. And Harvey is still involved in the business. And he's in his mid 90s now,
Yep.
and Larry's been around forever. So we just feel like we have such institutional knowledge and such great history, and fortunate enough that some of the people that really, I would say, were the trailblazers and got our business really started and on the road to what it is today. Dave Bowers, Harvey, Larry. They're just, it's just, I'm just in awe of everything they did, over such a long period of time. So I'm been fortunate enough to be kind of take that into the future and try to respect and preserve what they've accomplished.
Right. Yeah, because it's such a there's so much history and knowledge there. I love Harvey, I love Larry. They were great to me. I remember talking to Harvey in the store one day, and he told me like, "Oh yeah, I've been coming in here every day since 1948." And I was like, like, is this incredible? But then what you've kind of helped do is maintain that history, but bring it to the future with modern technology. Obviously, the auction business has changed quite a bit, even the last 10 or 20 years with
even the last 12 or 13 months. I mean, I never would have thought that we could have a $25 or $30 million auction online and have record prices. So I think the technology piece was something that we brought to the table. It was not the normal way for stacks. They were very old school,
right.
and I think what we've been able to do has been great. And just like you, I mean, I spend time in Harvey's office in the back of the store and listen to his stories, and it was a special place, and I have great memories of that location.
Right, but I think it's just wonderful that you've been able to kind of honor that tradition, for both stacks and for the business that Dave Bowers built, and merge it with with today and the direction that the business is heading. It's great. Congratulations. It's great.
Thank you.
Now, in the past 10 years or so, moving on to the next topic here, last 10 years or so, the American Silver Eagle, which is now 35 years old since 1986, it's kind of transcended beyond its original intention as just a bullion coin. And now you have so many people that are looking at these coins, and especially the earlier years, as real numismatic collectibles. Can you tell us a little bit about how that transformation happened?
Sure. I mean, I've been in a fortunate position for the last 15 years that I've probably at A-Mark, we've probably handled, I don't know, 50 million coins. I mean, it's probably a very large number. I'm just guessing at 50 million, but I think it's probably reasonable. The popularity and the ability for, the U.S. Mint, to make the quality of product that they do, and to be the gold standard of 1 ounce silver coins is pretty incredible. I mean, the process, is really very involved. I'm in a fortunate position where we provide a lot of the 1,000-ounce bars to the U.S. Mint that get made into these coins, and can kind of follow the process. And what a lot of people don't know is that the U.S. Mint strikes all these coins at West Point in New York, and then this last 12 months at Philadelphia and San Francisco to a smaller extent. Right. But the product starts with the 1,000-ounce bars, and then another business that I'm involved with, Sunshine Mint, up in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, and in Las Vegas. They actually make the blanks for the United States Mint, right. As well as strike silver coins for the Royal Canadian Mint and the British Royal Mint. But the standards that the U.S. Mint wants from those blanks to make this quality coin is unbelievable. I mean, we've had situations at Sunshine before where they've sent back 20,000 blanks just because they weren't quite what they wanted. Oh, really? So the amount of work that goes into making one of these silver eagles is pretty incredible. And, the quality is super high. I think, I've been involved with a lot of the proofs going back to the beginning. And to me, the quality of the coin still, is high going back even 20 or 30 years. So it's a natural to me that, the highest quality of these coins are very collectible. And, silver is a tough metal to get perfect. There's a lot that goes into the mix of how much copper goes into it, how much silver, even to the what seems amazing is that depending on where the silver comes out of the ground, some silver works better than others for this product.
Oh, really?
So you have quality issues all the way to the ground, and where we source the metal and the 1,000-ounce bars, what refinery they come from, can oftentimes affect the blanks, and then only a certain amount of those blanks are good enough for the U.S. Mint. So, it's a process, and it doesn't just doesn't happen where you just push a button and it happens. Right. The work that actually goes into striking these coins is very impressive to me.
And if I understand correctly, doesn't all of the silver used in these coins have to be U.S. mined, or at least a large percentage of it? Isn't there some rule relating to?
There's a list of what hallmarks are acceptable. Okay. And so you have to stick with the hallmarks, but there's a variety of refiners that it works, and just some parts are just better, just better quality silver. So different refiners and different mines, have different attributes. So, but for the most part, the silver does come out of United States refiners. Yes.
And is the difference in locales? Is that just kind of these kind of trace different elements that are in the silver, or what do you think makes the difference?
Right. I mean, there's a lot of different elements that are in silver, and bismuth. There's different elements that cause the silver to react differently when it's melted, and then fabricated into billets. Then it goes and it gets into strips, and then the strips get you have a brittleness, and you have how hard the metal is, and all these different specifications that the U.S. Mint requires, or the Canadians or the Royal Mint. It just is that the U.S. Mint has a little bit higher standards, I believe. So it does matter. I mean, there's silver from Mexico in particular is really very pure and has some little bit different qualities than maybe silver mined in Canada. So you do run across different assay reports, and the assay reports will tell you what elements are in it, and then the different mints have their criterion for what level of different elements can be there, copper, and different elements.
So it's amazing though, because these are 999 fine. So you're just talking about this. What is that, like 1,000th of a percent? And it really makes a difference what makes up that little 1,000th of a percent.
It absolutely does.
Wow, that's amazing. I never would have thought that.
So and then there's a process. I mean, the Sunshine has to go through a process of checking that and making sure those amounts are just right. So there is a process when they melt the bars to get it to just the right standard. So they have their own standards, and how they can make that blank be just how it needs to be to strike to get this quality in the Silver Eagle.
Wow. I think one of the reasons that the Silver Eagle is so popular among collectors is, like you said, how much effort the U.S. Mint puts into making the quality is, like you said, there's so much that goes into making these such great coins. I knew there was a lot of effort that went into producing them, but I never really thought about kind of the earlier stage of pulling it out of the ground and how pure, what that little thousandth of a percent difference means. That's really interesting to me. It almost amazes me though that we have these coins that are in 69 and 70 after all that. It takes a lot to get there, huh?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I see it at our mint in Indiana. We own a mint there called the Silvertown Mint. And when you're striking, 20, 30, 40 million ounces a year, it's a big job to keep the quality up. And I think, that's why the Silver Eagle has the greatest demand and has the millions of people now that have bought them, that know about them, that understand it is the first one that always is gone off the shelf at A-Mark. You can always sell more Silver Eagles than they can make. Right. And so, that just has to do with the popularity and the quality of the product.
Right. So what do you think the future holds for coin collectors?
I'm very enthusiastic. I mean, I'm kind of, towards the, the latter third, hopefully, of my career in this. Probably, I see, a lot of new young people coming into the business. I see a lot of younger demographic collectors and investors buying rare coins. We see definite increase in the number of bidders and the number of buyers we have in our auctions. And then, at A-Mark, we supply a number of online retailers that are selling on the internet, and the quantity of customers that they're sourcing right now is pretty impressive. And the whole internet website, e-commerce has really helped the collectible business, and then people like you that are on TV really, getting a broad reach out to the to new collectors. I have to say I think the last few years have probably been probably a record for new people interested in the business.
Yeah, it's an exciting time. Obviously, we're here kind of preaching the gospel of coins and collectibles, and it is an exciting time. There's been so much interest in these coins, and all different types of coins, but in particular Silver Eagles. I talk about it as the Morgan dollar of our generation. This is the kind of surpassed everything as the most hot, highly demanded, hotly collected. Like you said, there's millions of people who buy these coins every year. It's an incredible, it's an incredible time. There's just so many great things out there going on. So all of our guests seem to have a really excellent insight into the hobby. You have any advice for our viewers today? Maybe some newer people. What advice could you give viewers when it comes to collecting coins?
Well, I've been around for a while. I've collected coins since I was a kid, so I feel like I have a pretty good view of how it works. Probably the biggest advice I would give is to know what your goal is, to actually have a goal, to have a narrow focus initially, and to actually pick something you can accomplish, and actually put a set together. And know what your financial, the size of your wallet is, and not take on too much. I think, it's easy for me even today to say, I'd love to own that $1804, or I'd love to own, a 94S dime. I think that, that those are things to dream about. And a lot of our customers today that buy those coins are 60-year-olds or 50-year-olds that dreamed of them when they were 15, 20 years old. So I would just say that, setting a goal and setting a goal that you can accomplish, and whether it's building a Silver Eagle set from 1986, or if it's having an 8-piece type set of gold coins, or whatever it is, I just think, stay narrow and accomplish a few projects that you want to do before you broaden. And when you and don't broaden too soon, because the coin business is very broad, and there's a lot of SKUs. There's a lot of things you can do, and if you get too broad, you're going to have 20 unfinished projects. So I would just say narrow focus is kind of the key to me.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you could get, it's almost endless just in U.S., but I had David Vagey on here, who's an expert in ancients. Then it really is just endless. The U.S. is a big enough series. You get to foreign and then ancient. It really is endless. It's endless.
I mean, I have a partner of mine that is a big ancient collector, and he is very focused on just ancients. So he loves U.S. coins, and him and I talk about U.S. coins all the time, but he doesn't venture too broad, away from his ancient coin collection that he works, really hard on. So, that flows to currency, it flows to foreign coins.
Right.
There's just so many opportunities. So.
Let's see what's going on here. Anything? Do you have any comments, Sofer? No, I thought you might have had somebody from the somebody saying hi or something. No.
Well, we have one guy, Constitutional JB, says RCTV has been very educational to my hobby. Thank you.
Oh, good, cool.
And we have Mr. Scott B, who said something very kind. He says, "My dad got me into coins as a kid, and I pretty much left off of collecting for a while. Then I bought a gorgeous coin from a guy named, buckle in here, Jack McNamara. And it restarted my collecting and relit that fire for collecting again."
Cool.
And that's what we're all about.
That's great. Well, thank you for your comments to our viewers who are watching us. And thank you so much, Greg. This has really been fascinating. I love hearing about the King of Siam Set and Wells Fargo and your experience with stacks, putting stacks together with Bowers. This has been great. And, of course, all the things you do at A-Mark, you guys handle a lot of coins, so we appreciate what you do to keep this business moving along smoothly.
Yep. Well, my pleasure, and I hope I lived up to the standard of your previous guests. And if there's any time you want me to come back or you need me to help with anything, I'm always here for you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, really appreciate it. And hopefully, I don't know if your grilled cheese arrived yet, but hopefully you'll be enjoying it shortly. We don't want to deprive you of grilled cheese.
All right, I didn't want to talk and eat at the same time, so you enjoy your sandwich, and thank you for having me. It's been a real pleasure.
Great, thank you so much. Talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
All right, everyone else here, thank you so much for joining me on Coin Snacks with Jack. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. We're streaming every week on Facebook and YouTube, 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific. So tune in for your weekly dose of numismatics. We will see you next week for another episode with more great coins and more great snacks.
Thanks for watching Coin Snacks with Jack. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe so you never miss an episode of Coin Snacks. Visit us at rarecollectiblestv.com.